There we go. All right. We'd like to take the opportunity to welcome everyone tonight. Let's go ahead and get started with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'm on the agenda to give a prayer thought. I was going to give a nice pithy thought about the definition of planning. I don't know if you're all aware, but we have a police officer, Officer Jason Reed, who passed away earlier this week. He was involved in a motorcycle accident while he was off duty. And I thought that rather than talk about the definition of planning, I would just like to thank Officer Reed for his service. He's a 13-year veteran with Centerville City. He was awarded 2 life-saving medals, one in 2008 and one in 2014, and received the Medal of Valor in 2016. I'd like to extend our thoughts and prayers to his family, and I'd like to just take a moment of silence to honor his service. Thank you very much. All right, moving to our first item on the agenda, we're being asked to consider the proposed final site plan and conditional use permit for Oak Ridge Assisted Living at 451 Rollins Circle. We'll turn the time over to staff.
Thank you, Shaylin. So this is the final site plan and conditional use permit for Oak Ridge Assisted Living. The conceptual site plan was approved in July of this year. Just to refresh your memories, this is a 16-bed assisted living on Rollins Circle. One of the buildings, or one half kind of the building, was completed over 10 years ago, and the foundation was laid for the other side of the building, but for reasons unknown to us, remained kind of empty and unbuilt on for the past 15 years. And so Oak Ridge came in and bought the property and wants to clean it up and add that second building, and also acquired a little bit of land to the north, about 0.13 acres, so they can expand the landscaping and parking on this facility. And so it's technically an amended site plan and an amended conditional use permit from the original owner that was Superior Assisted Living. So the main concerns from the final site plan from before were the landscaping waiver. Because of the laid foundation and the existing driveways and building that were already on the site, the 40% landscaping requirement was a little bit difficult to fulfill. So they did submit for that landscaping waiver. Right now they are at about 34% of total landscaped area for the site. And fulfilling all of the trees and shrub requirements on that site. So only a 6% waiver decrease for that landscaping recommendation. And due to the existing facility just on the site, staff believes that that's an acceptable modification for this. They did, let me bring up the site for you real quick. Here we go. So here's the final landscaping plan for the site. So they did provide a little pavilion for the residents out here, and they also took away some of the parking stalls that were originally put in for conceptual, so they reduced their parking by about 4 stalls, and provided this pavilion for the residents here with a little pedestrian crosswalk through the parking lot. The pavilion used to kind of be in this back corner, and this provides them a little bit more area and space away from the building. Also a concern was the curb appeal and the street visualization of the building. So they added in some more trees and decreased this driveway width, and some more shrubs around the foundation of the building and around the street in particular. So there's a nice aesthetic when you go down that cul-de-sac, because before it was just this additional property that they acquired was kind of just like storage and just a big asphalt of trailers and stuff like that. So now it's will be significantly improved. So those were the main concerns from the conceptual site plan. This does require an amendment to the original conditional use permit. This is the site and the zoning map for this area. So as you can see, this is just a short little cul-de-sac on the south side of the city where there's agricultural properties, residential low and residential medium and commercial, so kind of a diverse zoning in this cul-de-sac. But with 16 beds in this facility, there's going to be a little bit less traffic than a normal residential medium, since obviously assisted living doesn't have people kind of constantly coming and going. And because of the surrounding uses, there's only like 4 other neighbors on this cul-de-sac. We don't believe that there's going to be any adverse effects to the surrounding properties for a site like this. Obviously, they're used to the assisted living being there already, and they're just adding in a few more beds and actually improving the aesthetic of the property in general. So we didn't have any really big concerns with the conditional use permit because of it's an existing use, so we're just adding and improving it already. So as you can see, I just copied and pasted the conditional uses from before that was originally written in 2007 and added in just a few little edits to the conditional use permit. The only other thing I did forget to mention is that there are still easements to be recorded and some vacated on the site, which will have to go to City Council hopefully next week. So, any questions?
Thanks, Cassie. Any questions for staff?
Cass, can you remind me, I think if memory serves that the pavilion location was a discussion item amongst the Planning Commission and was kind of requested by us that be moved to a more accessible location, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thanks.
All right. If there are no further questions, we'll go ahead and invite the applicant to step forward and speak to this matter. If you'll introduce yourself for the record.
Tyler Young again. So, any questions or?
Do you have any concerns with anything in the staff report?
Just the cost of construction. I don't know if you can cite that, but no, we've been really excited about the team, and everyone's really stepped up, helped us understand a little more on the litigation side, the rules, regulations, so we don't have anything on our side.
Okay, great. Any questions for the applicant? Doesn't look like there is any, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
This matter has been scheduled for a public hearing, so we will take the opportunity to open a public hearing and request that any member of the public that wishes to speak to this matter to step forward. Seeing no one step forward, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Any further discussion or debate?
I think they've done a great job of addressing our concerns that we had when we first met with them, and I think overall our concerns were minimal in that the use and the addition is going to be great for the area to make it better. So I think this is going to be a great addition, a great enhancement to the area.
So I'd just like to point out that we're proposing granting a landscaping waiver here, and I'm not really a fan of exceptions per se very often, but this one, if you look at the requirements for the waiver, it's not really laid out specifically exactly in the staff report, but it is in there in pieces. But essentially that it preserves the intent of the chapter, which I think we've had that good discussion to say what else can we do to get there, and that's good. It doesn't result in an adverse impact on surrounding properties. I don't think anybody's going to notice if some of this other stuff isn't there, maybe a few extra square feet of grass, because they're maybe making up for it with some extra trees and things. And then the third requirement really is just can be boiled down to there's not really any other way to do it, right? And in this case, especially where there's already a foundation poured, which is a pretty good chunk of the site, I don't really see any other way to do it without being unreasonable and saying tear that out. So I just think that I just wanted to kind of point out that this one, it's a good example of trying to, make the most of it, and we're not granting the exception without a lot of discussion. We're not doing that lightly. So this is good that way.
Any further discussion? If not, the chair will entertain a motion.
Before we do that, real quickly, do we actually have two motions here? Is that what we're doing?
Yes, so the first motion I would propose would be to allow the landscaping exception, and then the second would be to approve the conditional use permit. So would
The
anyone,
final site plan?
or excuse me,
There's three.
Oh, there's three, that's right.
There are
So I
three.
mean, there's the
Landscaping waiver,
final
the
site plan.
final
site
site
plan,
plan,
and
and then
CUP.
conditional use, yes,
CUP.
sorry. All right, so let's start with the landscaping waiver. The chair will entertain a motion.
I'll do it. I hereby make a motion to recommend approval of the landscaping waiver of strict compliance in that Oak Ridge's landscaping coverage may not fall below 33%, with findings 1 through 6 in the staff report. And I would like to actually modify finding number 1. This is a technical thing. CZC 12.51 is the landscaping and screening. It's the section that handles landscaping and screening. And then on item number 6, I'd like to modify that one just a little bit. Instead of they have added an outdoor pavilion, just to change that to the applicant has added an outdoor pavilion. So,
I'll second that with amendments.
thank you.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion or debate? Let's take a roll call, starting with Commissioner Wright.
Aye.
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 Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, the motion passes. The chair will entertain a motion with regard to the final site plan recommendation.
I'll make a motion that the planning commission approve the final site plan as recommended by staff with the findings 1 through 4, and the suggested reasons for the actions A through C.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion or debate? Let's start down with Commissioner Johnson.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
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 That motion passes.
May I interrupt for one moment? Was that Commissioner Helgeson on the second?
Yeah.
Yes. All right, next.
Should we, it doesn't matter, go ahead.
All right, moving to the third motion that I'll entertain with regard to a conditional use permit.
I'll make a motion that we, for the conditional use permit for the property located at 451 and 463 West Round Circle, with 1 through 6 items in the staff report and reasons for actions A and B.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, and I assume when we put this through, we'll just delete the language that's been stricken out, since Cassie included that from the 2007.
So we could review it.
Yeah, otherwise it looks weird. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion or debate? If not, let's start back with Commissioner Wright.
Aye.
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 Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, and all three motions pass. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Looks like we have some Boy Scouts in the audience.
Oh,
What?
let me handle this one.
Oh, you're, okay. Vice Chair Daly.
So I'd like to welcome, a part of Troop 832 from here in Centerville, of which, funny enough, I am actually the Scoutmaster.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah. So we got that's Isaac and Quinn out there learning about how city works, our city government works, and taking good notes, right? Yeah, thanks for being here, guys.
Thank you so much. All right, moving on to our next item on the agenda. We have scheduled a continued discussions of proposed revisions and updates to the city subdivision ordinance CMC 15 regarding subdivisions. I understand that that's not quite ready yet, so
That's not.
that's okay. We'll go ahead and table that matter for now, and we'll revisit that one when it's ready to come up. All right, moving on.
Before we move on, Jamie, are you new?
Yes, I am.
Welcome.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Was this your very first day?
Second,
Second day?
yes,
Is this your first planning commission meeting?
second.
Second meeting.
I believe it was September 12th.
Okay.
While you're speaking to me, I'm very concerned about the low sound levels. Are you guys okay going on?
I'll talk louder.
Okay, I don't want to find out after the fact that
I think-
it's not something that came up last time. I've done everything in there that it says to do, so.
Lisa, is there any concern from public records, open records?
Well, we do have to record it, so if it's just low sound level, that's okay, but we could take a break and you could try to reboot it, but I think we only have, we do have the minutes, so, yeah, if you'd like to take the opportunity to reload it.
It's always,
Sometimes that helps.
we're on YouTube still though, right? And
Right, but
that's
it
not
does take
That's legally, we have to do the.
some technical effort to get the recording off of YouTube, but oddly enough, YouTube has a much better sound quality than our microphones into this, but
Huh.
anyway.
It would count
But
as a
we-
public record, wouldn't it? I mean, we
Yeah,
could
but
if
we
we
have,
wanted.
yeah, we have to do some postings and other things, and we have to have the recording ready within 3 days, so we like to have this as our.
Got it. Jamie, I am going to defer to you. We only have to review minutes, and that's the only thing that's left. So would you prefer for us to take a couple-minute break for you to reboot, or do you want us just to push through?
With it, I'll take really good notes while we talk about the minutes so that there can be no question after that.
Right, as long as it's recording, I'm okay.
Okay.
It's recording.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and push through then. So we have on the agenda to review a couple sets of minutes, the our August 22nd meeting, our September 12th meeting, and our September 26th meeting. So let's just start with the first. For August 22nd, we'll do this like we normally do. We'll go through page by page. If anyone has any comments, let me know. So starting with page 1.
Line 28, it says interested citizens see attached sign-in sheet. Usually we have, if anyone was here, and we have their names, do we need that line there?
We don't-
I think it usually
We
says
don't
this.
usually have that.
Yeah, no, that's normally the way it is.
Well, I mean, it usually says that, but we don't usually have the sign-in sheet. We
Right.
don't.
We don't, yeah.
I think that's
I haven't
how it
seen
always
that.
is.
normal.
That's normal.
Okay, I just noticed it, and I noticed on September 12th, we do have the visitors listed. That's why I
Maybe that's why you
wondered.
noticed it.
I don't think that we normally list out the visitors. My
I-
recollection is we always
don't.
just say see attached sign-in sheet.
I'm
Well,
completely
a lot of times
fine with
we
that.
list those that were in the public comment period or those that signed in, but we don't always have that. You know, we could have
Okay.
a full house and we don't, but we could certainly just find out what the standard practice is and make sure we follow that.
Or attach the sign-in sheet.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say, I think it'd be fine to just attach the sign-in sheet. I just noticed it and went, oh, I've never,
I've seen that before, but not seen a list of who's there or the sign-in sheet.
Because our meetings are so well attended.
I'm inclined to just do whatever our normal practice is with
Yeah.
regard to this entry.
I
I didn't,
agree.
yeah, I didn't mean to change anything that has been done historically.
No worries. Any other comments on page 1? Page 2? Page 3? Page 4? Right, the chair will entertain a motion.
I move to accept the minutes of the August 22nd meeting.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Any opposed? All right, moving on to the September 12th minutes. Start with page 1. Page 2.
Are you on
I have
the
a-
motion meeting?
Yeah, what do
I'm
you
on
want?
the, well,
The
I guess.
forum? Is this
Forum.
So
what
I
we're-
apologize, I should be more clear. Okay, so we're starting now with the Planning Commission minutes of public forum. This was at 6 PM on September 12th. Are we all on the same page?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so let's start over again. So any comments with regard to page 1? Page 2? page 3.
Yeah, I have one minor thing. On line 32, $5 million. Dollars is actually redundant there. Can we strike the word dollars and just leave the dollar sign?
Wouldn't you, I think you'd either take the dollar sign out
Let's leave the dollar sign.
or you'd go 5.
Yeah.
But reading it, it would go,
I know, it doesn't read right, but that's, yeah.
5 million, period.
Yes.
Yeah, dollar sign, 5 million, period.
there you go.
Any other comments on page 3? Page 4. Chair will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, moving now to the Planning Commission minutes of meeting. This is the one that started at 7 p.m. on September 12th. Any comments on page 1?
On line 18, my name is spelled with an I.
Oh.
Not a big deal.
Big deal.
But it's like my name, so, you know, sure, let's do it that way.
Any other comments on page 1? Page 2.
I've got one on page 2, line 35. Let's see here. Well, let's back up. So line 34 starts. Vice Chair Daly asked her to expound on her desire to limit murals, and I'd like to change it to say to buildings in CM zones and strike commercial. So it should read, Vice Chair Daly asked her to expound on her desire to limit murals to buildings in CM zones. Because that's what the discussion was about. It wasn't just commercial buildings. We were specifically limiting it to CM.
Okay.
Okay.
So I have a question, but I don't want this to come across wrong. I thought that in cases when Vice Chair Daly is acting as the chair, he's being referred to as Vice Chair. And then in cases when he is not, if Shaylin is here, then he's Commissioner.
Well, that's fine because on line 39, I'm referred to as Commissioner Daly. So if we want to make that change too.
I just know historically that's how we've done it with our previous,
Yep.
all of the other ones. I don't want to take your vice chair away, but I do know that that's how we've historically done it.
Yeah.
You are listed as
So
vice
he'll be
chair on the
vice
first
chair
page.
when
Well,
he
that's fine.
leads the
I
meeting.
think that's what we've done historically.
So on line 34, right? Is that
Yeah.
the only one?
Is that the only
Did you
one?
see anything else?
I didn't see anything else, but I just heard it when you said it, so it just made me think
Thanks.
Okay.
I'm sorry, before I forget, who seconded the last motion? I don't know the
I did.
voices yet.
I did.
You did, okay.
Commissioner Daly.
Okay.
Okay. Boy, it's one of those nights. Any other comments on page 2?
It's because I've missed you guys so much.
We're letting this Boy Scout troop know that Planning Commission is really fun.
Planning Commission is fun.
Lisa has
This
something.
is fun. Lisa has
I
something.
do have a change on page 2, line 31. The comment says, however, Ms. Romney pointed out that the First Amendment, comma, did not recognize obscenity. It recognizes it, but it doesn't protect it. So I'd like to change that to just say, Ms. Romney pointed out that the First Amendment, capitalized, and then take out the comma, does not protect speech that is considered obscenity or obscene.
Obscene, right?
Yeah.
How about just protect obscene speech?
Okay, does not protect obscene speech.
All right.
Okay, any other comments on page 2? Page 3.
Yeah, a couple things on page 3. On lines 2 and 3, there's 2 periods after PM on both of those. So if we can get rid of one of those periods on each line. And then I guess it would go on line 7. We have a motion, but we don't have a second. And I did go back and watch YouTube, and it was me. So that would be Commissioner Daly seconded the motion.
And you're good at that now.
Thank you. I learned quick.
Thank you for your careful catch on that. I didn't catch that.
Yeah, that's good.
Any other comments on page 3? Page 4. Page 5.
I have a couple things on page 5 as well. Line 31. All right, let's see. On line 31, kind of in the middle, well, let me just read it to you. Commissioner Daly pointed out that at times, and strike there were, exceptions, and strike made, to code are permitted, usually when there is no other way to make it work. And he was inclined to think that this might be one of those times. So essentially, we're just going to strike there were and then made, and then add in, are permitted usually when there is no other way to make it work. So that way it sounds less like we're just making exceptions just because.
Commissioner Daly pointed out that at times exceptions to code
Are permitted,
are permitted.
usually when there is no other way to make it work, and then continue the rest as written. And then on line 39, 40, we have a motion again without a second. And again, it was me. So Commissioner Daly seconded the motion.
Man, you were like seconding left and right.
Which was surprising, but whatever.
I have a comment on line 9. The he in that sentence midline is referring to the applicant. I think just there should be some clarification, and we should start that sentence with the applicant instead of he, so there's no confusion.
With staff's
We all-
concern or something.
Y'all know that I'm not a he, but I think
I
that's
know,
a
right,
good
but down the road, I
clarification.
think there could be confusion.
I think that's.
Down the road.
Not that
What are you saying
anyone,
about Shayla?
I think that our minutes are so exciting that they're gonna be, people are gonna be reading
Yes.
them
Yeah,
years from now.
for sure.
I did notice that there's
Live it.
on line 42, there's a stray comment after Ms. Romney. There shouldn't be that comment, just Ms. Romney wished to include.
And I had a suggestion to that as well. While I would like to be able to amend motions, I'd rather have this say Ms. Romney suggested including the following clarification. So rather than wishes to, just Ms. Romney suggested including the following clarification, singular.
Any further comments on page 5? Page 6, the only thing I noticed is there's some weird formatting going on lines 2 through 7. I don't know what's up with that, but if we want to fix that formatting. Any other comments on page 6? Page 7?
Yeah, I've got a few on page 7. Starting out on line 1, Chair Heyman asked about using colored concrete. And then continuing on, Chief Bassett said, so we're missing a word said on line 2. Then on line 19, Commissioner Daly, but my last name does not have an E in it, so D-A-L-Y. And then I had a question on line 20. We have SDMF SA, but I thought it was D. I thought it was South Davis Metro Fire District. Is that not right, or is it?
It's a special assessment area or service area.
SDMF.
Isn't it service area at the end?
Yes,
Metro Fire Service Area.
Is that what it is?
yes.
Did we-
It's
I mean, we changed it.
A little unwieldy, but it's a service area.
Okay.
The acronym.
Well, the funny thing is that's not what the motion said, but that's fine. Then,
Well, how would you know it was Commissioner DeLay who said it?
well, I did go back and.
Vice Chair delay.
It was not.
I did go back and watch it on YouTube, so. On line 21, well, so this is another situation where you have a motion without a second, and in this case, it was Commissioner Helgeson, seconded the motion.
Helgesen.
We'll get to that in a minute. Then I have a question on, well, actually, so line, it'd be 47. So we have suggested reasons for the action A and B, but there was a C, and that C isn't listed. So we need to go back and list the C. Line 48, there's that delay thing again, Commissioner Daly without an E. And then, I guess starting after, on line 52, we don't list their suggested reasons for action A and B, even though we tend to do that. So we're missing actions A and B.
They're above
It
it.
says
It
above.
says,
on
No,
line
but this is a
49.
separate motion. This is a new motion.
There's two motions on that page.
We made a second motion to approve the final site plan. So the first motion was to approve a parking modification.
you're right.
The second motion was to approve the final site plan with items 1 through 6 and suggestion reasons for action A and B. So I guess we need to include all of the
Items.
items 1 through 6 and A and B.
So we just need to pull those from the staff
Can I just ask for
report.
clarification? You're talking about, when you said Helgeson seconded the motion, she's also got this line, Commissioner Hurst seconded the motion. I'm fine with either one, but we need to remove that if it was
No,
Helgeson.
so,
I don't
no,
recall.
This one
so,
is okay.
so you seconded the second motion.
Okay.
Commissioner Helgeson seconded the first motion.
But isn't
But
there-
Commissioner
is this the
Hurst on line
second one?
46 is just,
Am I misunderstanding?
it's
Oh,
not.
I think,
Here's the first
okay, I
one,
see what you're
here's
saying.
the
Oh.
second. I don't know.
So on line 46, it says Commissioner Hurst seconded the motion. I believe that's incorrect. I went back and,
So
yeah,
strike,
I think you need to strike line 46
strike line
completely.
46.
And on line 21, you should add that Commissioner Helgeson seconded the motion. At least according to YouTube, that's what happened. So,
That's probably right.
probably right.
You're probably right, Vice Chair.
Thanks.
I'm gonna call you VC.
All right.
That's all I had for page 7.
Any other comments on
No,
page
That
7?
was significant.
Okay. Page 8.
Yeah, one thing. Sorry. It feels like this is me. I mean,
That's okay. We appreciate your close.
thank you. Line 18, right in the middle of line 18, was in improvement, but should be was an improvement. Yeah.
Any other comments on page 8? Page 9.
Line 1, Commissioner Helgeson is with an E. Told you we'd get to that.
Didn't notice that.
I had a comment on line 15. It says, Ms. Romney pointed out that color selection was not part of the planning commission's role. I think sometimes, like with a PDO, it might be, so my suggestion is to say Ms. Romney pointed out that color selection is not generally part of the planning commission's role, with planning commission possessive, or, anyway, with the-
Got it.
All right. Any other comments on page 9?
Yeah. I wasn't at the meeting and I did not review the YouTube video. However, it looks like on line 2 that there might be a repeat of the same idea that was expressed on lines 5 and 6. Perhaps you did restate yourself there, Chair. And that's possible. I don't know if you did, but it seemed like it was a pretty close repeat of the same idea.
Yeah, I agree. And let's just go ahead and strike lines 5 and 6.
Yeah. Cohesiveness is very important.
Apparently. I don't recall actually that specifically on that. So, any other comments on page 9? Page 10? Page 11?
So I just have a comment on 29. Again, so Chair Hayman moved to grant final site plan approval with conditions 1 through 11 as amended by Ms. Romney. I'd suggest we say conditions 1 through 11 with the suggested amendments by Ms. Romney.
Okay. Any other comments on page 11? Page 12. I move that we accept the minutes as amended.
I'll second.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, Commissioner Helgeson seconded that one. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And our last set of minutes, this is really not the most exciting planning commission meeting that you've ever been to. I'm
Actually,
sure
it has
for this
been pretty exciting.
poor troop, yes.
Come on, let's be honest.
Vice Chair.
All right. Let's go ahead. We're looking now at the planning commission minutes for our September 26th meeting, starting with page 1.
Okay, only have one. I'm going to stop with one. On line 42, would like to see some place as 2 words.
Any other comments on page 1? Page 2. On line 27, is cup bop 2 words? Isn't it cup and then capitalized bop? Or am I wrong?
I think,
Cup bop?
I think you're right.
I think
Yeah.
it is 2 words.
I think it's 2 words. I think it's cup bop.
Yeah.
I don't know, it looks like one word when I Googled it.
Really?
Just, I mean, Google never lies, so.
Did you see an image? Look at the logo.
Maybe you're right, yeah.
Lowercase.
Really?
It's one word, cup bop?
One word?
Well, okay, on their logo, it's all capitalized, but in other, even on their Facebook, it's lowercase.
All right, well, we'll leave it,
One word.
we'll leave it as is. I would like to take appreciation for the accent aigu over the E in line 14. Okay.
Can I
any-
make one little question or suggestion?
Yes,
Um,
on page 2.
Yes. The city, instead of this, it's saying fear of what could come in and what could happen, the city will miss out on a lot of opportunities.
What line are we
Yeah, which line are you on?
30, sorry. Sorry, I'll start on 29. Commissioner Wright commented that if all decisions are made based on the fear of what could come in and what could happen, the city will miss out on a lot of opportunities. I just wanted to say the city may miss out
Maine.
May.
on a lot of positive opportunities. How about that?
And I just, now that I saw this, on line 26 and 27, Chair Heyman encouraged the residents in attendance to talk to their neighbors and friends about what the city is trying to do. I'm sure that's exactly what I said, but the intent after adding do and provide feedback to the city.
after trying to do?
Yes. Any other comments on page 2? The chair will entertain a motion.
I move to accept the minutes from the forum on 9/26.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
This says actually meeting. Was it a forum? It was a forum, right?
Was it a forum?
It was a forum.
It's considered
Yeah.
forum, so actually
Let's change that.
change
sorry.
that to forum on line 1.
To make a motion to reconsider?
I second that motion. On, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. I think that Becky is right. I think that this one should read Planning Commission meeting of public forum in the header.
Just like the other ones were.
Yeah,
And
and,
it says forum in the,
Yeah.
and I move that the September 26 minutes be so amended. Do I have a second?
Yes,
I just
I'll
did
second.
that. Aye.
Everybody. Who wants to take credit for that second?
We just voted for that already.
I know, but I needed a second to, we had to motion to re-look at it, and now we have to
Okay.
move to amend them
Oh, to
again.
relook at it. We had a motion.
So,
Sorry.
who wants to be the second on that? Commissioner Helgeson, you're the second. Okay. Now we are looking to amend the minutes and just put the public forum at the top of the header. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Do we need to do this the same on
thought we did
September
that.
12th, public forum?
No,
because that one was okay.
See, it says public forum.
Well, it does there. Oh, you're talking about here.
I'm talking about the header.
The very top.
One quick question, who seconded the motion to reconsider?
Helgeson.
Someday I'll know all your voices.
Helgeson.
Put it down for
We're just gonna
Helgeson.
give you it.
everybody.
We're just gonna give it to you.
I think it was a collective second. Okay, we don't really have what happened to our no community development director's report? It's not technically on the agenda, but will you fill us in, Cassie, on
Yep.
anything that's coming up?
Next meeting, you have 2 preliminary subdivisions, one for Sheffield Downs and one for Legacy Lands. And if I recall, the Coalition for Housing is on October 16th at the City Council, if you guys would like to attend. Anything else?
Will you send us an email about that?
Yeah, sure.
Say that again?
Coalition for what?
That group that's
The housing
coming.
gap?
Okay.
Yeah.
I would strongly encourage everybody to come and attend if they're able to. This is a coalition that is being, as I understand it, maybe I'm wrong, but that it's being promoted by the Salt Lake Chamber of Commerce to address housing issues that they expect, that they're trying to address to encourage business growth.
What was
but
the date on
to
that
long-term-
again?
October 16th.
I said that
I'll
right.
double check on that and send you guys an email.
Okay.
Then just one logistical question for you. I'm trying to give
Yes.
you some self-improvement by giving you a vacation from myself next meeting. So the idea of the Main Street uses, we can prepare for you all the comments and provide it to you for your next meeting if you want it scheduled on your agenda. What we're seeking at our level is, we've talked about preliminary the uses, whether they're conditional, but we need to have direction from the commission on how you would like to craft. What do you want to be crafted for your November meeting if you're so inclined to do that, or do you want to bump that off to the November meeting?
You know, I appreciate always your presence at these meetings, but I'd like to continue moving this process along. So let's go ahead and add that to the agenda, and we can talk about that.
Okay, so
at our next
we'll
meeting.
provide you, and then a little bit of direction to formulate the concept that you want to be posted for public hearing for your November, is that our intent. Then the city council report, the only one I can remember is the murals. They held their public hearing and tabled it to their next meeting, so.
What was the concern there? Do you remember?
Typically of the council, if they have a hearing of an ordinance change the same night, they're uncomfortable unless it's a narrow request that they don't believe they need extra comment. And they've had a habit lately of just, every time a decision, don't make the decision the same night you have the hearing, and open it for written comment into their next meeting, and they give a deadline. I'm not sure they always have to do that, but it's just something that they're beginning to traditionally do. It's okay to bump a decision to a next meeting, but they're starting to add written comment up into the last day of the submittal for their packet. And sometimes I wonder if they overshoot the mark when they do that. So on YouTube, they can watch that and criticize me. But
Was there negative feedback with regard to that?
I wouldn't
ordinance change?
call it negative. There were some aesthetics issues. People acknowledged, particularly the murals in Salt Lake, and there's some controversial murals in Salt Lake. So, some accusations about what they mean, and so there were some concerns on, whether that was comfortable in opening up the window to Centerville for that type of discussion in the future.
Interesting. Okay. Thank you so much.
Corey, back to Main Street though, just to make sure I'm understanding what the kind of game plan is here. You'll prepare a packet for us to discuss next time, and then we'd have the public hearing the time after that.
So we'll take what we've discussed about the use list in the past. We'll provide you the comments that we've received in a format that you can look at, and then it's kind of formulating how you would like to approach a recommendation. Give us some preliminary ideas of what you want listed. It's not a decision yet. What you want debated at the November 6th hearing, so that we can set that up and send it out to the public on the posting.
Yeah, that sounds great.
So this is a 6 p.m. kind of work session before the next meeting, but it's not with the city council, correct?
No, it's not with the city council. So you can do it at 6 p.m. or you can do it as part of your regular agenda, whatever you wish.
I'm inclined to do that just as part of the regular agenda.
Yeah.
So no work session on the 24th?
Because the two that you're talking about, the two subdivisions you're talking about, we've seen those before,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Do
We
we
just
have-
originally scheduled it at 6 because I didn't know if you wanted to open that up to public.
No, that was not intended to be public discussion. It's their framework of what they would like to send out to the public.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we start at 7 o'clock, the public can come and listen, right? And then
Yeah, it's a
we'll have
public meeting,
Then we'll
so-
have a meeting on the 6th of November for public comment.
Right.
Okay.
Where we'll be
So
able to
that's a
give.
special session on the 6th of
No, isn't
November?
that a regularly
No,
scheduled
isn't that a
meeting?
regular meeting?
The
Oh, no,
6th?
I may be
second.
talking about council.
No, it's not the 6th, it's the second Tuesday.
I keep forgetting the
Alright.
council
I'm
was
like, I'm
bumped
not
from
gonna
the
be
6th to
here.
the 7th.
Oh, yeah.
So you mean the first, like the 14th of November?
Yes.
Your
Yeah,
first-
that's
Just
what-
our
Sorry.
next regularly scheduled. We're not doing anything
I
special.
keep on the council
Yeah.
schedule for some reason, and they're bumping that meeting on the 6th because of the election to the 7th, so.
Got it.
The regular meeting, Lisa.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Regular meetings.
I anticipate at our next meeting, we'll take all of the feedback, we'll debate it, we'll talk about it, we'll come up with a proposal that we can then really, I mean, right now, it's been just sort of hey, public, what do you think, right?
Yeah.
I'd like to give them now some direction and say, this is what we're thinking, what do you think?
Yeah.
So are we
Okay.
having a work session on the 24th?
No,
We originally talked about it if you felt like you needed it, but we can do it as part of your regular meeting.
I'm inclined to just do it as part of our.
Because we're not
regular
sure how many applications come in, so the logistics of the meeting
Okay.
becomes a
Great.
question mark.
So I can go to trunk or treat.
meeting. Excellent. Okay, anything else that we need to talk about tonight? If not, I move that we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.